Hey guys, Fight Commentary Breakdowns here. We have a special guest. This is William Speed Kills Cavali, and we call him the Muay Thai Monkey King in the Discord if you're part of the Discord. So William, welcome.
It's good. Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I think it's really cool to bring you on because you fight professionally now in Muay Thai, but before you did Muay Thai, you did Kung Fu, from my understanding.
Yeah, I did. My cousin, Bobby Whitaker, he trained a man in Harlem, and that man became my teacher. But they were doing Vietnamese Wing Chun.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was my cousin until I got older. And I met my teacher and I was in high school. He was like the dean of the school. And he was training me. So one day his Sifu came in and I noticed his tag. I'm like, yo, where you from? And, he's giving me his history. I'm like, I think we related. So once I found out that we was related, I took the style as a family style and I always held it close to me. So even now, like I still do I'll do certain Wing Chun stuff in my Muay Thai as far as like with the clinching and stuff. So
wow.
Yeah.
And how did your cousin get involved with Vietnamese Wing Chun? Is there a big Vietnamese community in the Harlem area?
Nah, all right. So we from Brooklyn. He moved to Harlem, but we from Brooklyn. I'm from Bed-Stuy. My cousin is from East New York. Around that time in the 70s when he was growing up, you had to know some type of martial arts in New York. New York was wild, crazy. Like you think it's bad now. Imagine back then, straight up fighting and no guns. So his older brother, he was training him in Vietnamese Wing Chun. Their teacher was Jason Lau. And he got so immersed in the martial arts that just became him. He just brought it through the time, like through the ages. Like it never left the family.
Wow. And tell me about that first class, your first Kung Fu class, if you remember.
My first class, I had came in there on some real cocky shit. Like I was feeling myself. And there's a Kung Fu brother of mine. His name is Winder Martinez. Me and him didn't like each other at the time because we was in school together and we was playing basketball. He really didn't speak English well at that time. And we was getting into little fights on a basketball court. So when I came to the Kung Fu class, he was there. So I'm like, oh, I'm definitely about to put in some work. But it didn't go that way. Like he was tripping me up. He was trapping me because I didn't know Wing Chun. So he was trapping me and I was upset. But at the same time, I was happy because I was like, yeah, I'm about to be real good at this. So I stuck with it.
Wow. And when in that journey did you discover Muay Thai?
Well, I always loved Muay Thai since I was a kid when I saw a kickboxer. I was born in 89. Yeah, I was born in 89. So I thought these movies were new, but they was old. But I loved the movie Kickboxer. And then I want to say 2004, my family moved to Staten Island for like 3 years. But in that time, I saw this movie called Ong Bak with Tony Jaa. And that shit, from then on, I was like, I got to learn that shit. And I wanted to learn the Muay Baran, the shit that he was doing.
Yeah.
But, I just started, I had a love for it, but I didn't find anybody yet. So fast forward, I'm doing Kung Fu for like 8 years now. Now I'm 24. Me and my teacher, we kind of separated. We had a little falling out. We good now, but we had a falling out. And I met my first Muay Thai coach, Derek Strong at Team Demolition. And then I came in there on some Dutch kickboxing shit. That was my mindset. But he was like, we're doing real Muay Thai. And so I fell in love with it. I saw what it was about. I saw like, yeah, I can really get down with this. Like this ain't like what they did at Ong Bak, but I can really get down with this. So I was training with him for 4 years. And then I met Crew Steven Masonette. Him and his brother, Hamza Masonette. They're like, when it comes to Muay Thai in New York, around the world, but in New York especially, they're like the bee's knees, you know what I mean? So I've been with them for like a year now, and it's like, that's true Muay Thai. Like I feel the essence of it and everything.
Wow. Yeah. And so even before you did Muay Thai, you were doing Kung Fu fights, right? Like that league I featured. So tell me about that league. How did you get involved with that?
So that was Man Up, Stand Up, and that was run by Novell Bell. He's he does Bagua, Yin Bagua, and he does Xing Yi. It's crazy because I kept telling my Sifu, I was like, I want to fight. Like, yeah, I like the demonstrations and that, but I want to fight. Because when I got into the martial arts, I was gangbanging at the time. So my whole shit was just like, yo, I need to protect myself. That was my mentality. Now, I had stopped gangbanging, but I still wanted to fight. So he said, yo, don't worry. We're gonna set something up. The first thing didn't fall through. Then they was like, yo, it's going to be a tournament. Automatically, I'm thinking like Mortal Kombat. Like, it's going to be some video game shit. And it was. I fought 3 times in one day.
Wow.
I fought this one guy. His name is Joseph Jefferson. Me and him still cool. He does ninjutsu. He does Bujinkan ninjutsu. I beat him. My second fight was against Novell Bell student Ernesto Miranda. I beat him. And then I beat the champion, Christopher Lorenzo. Now, when I got there, I was real nervous. Now, it's like a bunch of martial artists in one room. I was the only one they had a meditation room. I was the only one to go in there and meditate to clear my mind. And when I came out of there, if you look at the videos, you'll see I ripped everybody to shreds. Like, I had no trouble.
Wow. That's awesome. So after that moment, right, did you do more Man Up Stand? What happened to Man Up Stand Up, by the way?
All right, so the Man Up Stand Up I was in was the second one. There was a one before me, but I didn't fight in that one. So I did the second one, and I was undefeated from April 10th, 2010 to about 2014. I was undefeated for them whole 4 years. And I really don't know what happened to it. Like, me and Novell, we still cool, but really don't politic on it that much. But whenever there was a Man Up Stand Up, I was the defending champion always. Like, I never lost until like 2014. But after I stopped, Novell Bell did a fight with Gus Caparros. I don't know if you've seen that. It was like that was if you ever look up Kung Fu frauds or martial arts frauds, they always show that video of Gus getting beat up by Novell, which is crazy because I got respect for both of them. But after that happened, because it was like a Kung Fu, it was a Kung Fu versus karate thing. And that fight was there, the promoter Novell versus Gus. But after that, it just dissolved. I don't know what happened. I never really spoke to Novell about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so, all right, you started doing Muay Thai. Did you find the transition into Muay Thai hard, difficult, just very different? Tell me about that.
Only thing different was, I would say, is like the clinch. That was about it. Because stand up is relative. You know what I mean? I don't like to say striking because I feel like striking is something MMA guys say. You know, I'm good at striking. I know how to box. I have a good boxing IQ, and I mold everything around my boxing IQ. As far as Muay Thai, the only thing was the clinching. That was just something I just couldn't get it at first.
I see.
Yeah, that was the only hard part.
I see. And how many days did you go in to train Muay Thai?
Shit. Okay, so I started training Muay Thai seriously in 2014, and I was literally going 5 days a week.
Wow.
Literally, yeah. I was training. So I was training with Team Demolition 5 days a week, every day. I did 12 fights. So I had 4 fights in 2014, then I did 12 fights, and I did 12 fights in 2015. So like I was training all the time and I was fighting all the time, just stacking up. So it's like that now. I'm like that now. Even I train with my team every other day, but when I'm at home, I hit the bag, I run.
Wow.
I'm always training.
Wow. So when did you take your first professional Muay Thai match?
So, right. So I'm pro level, but I was supposed to have my pro debut in March. The pandemic started.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So it was like iffy. And now they're letting us fight, but it's only MMA. They're not letting none of the kickboxers or Muay Thai fighters fight in New York City. It's only MMA. Yeah.
Now
but the level I fight at is pro. Like all the guys I fought, these guys done fought in Thailand before. Like, you know, it was just a transition into getting a pro license to fight. And once they said, nah, it's a wrap, I just had to wait.
Oh, I see. So in New York, you have to get a pro license to fight.
Yeah, so, I don't know how they do it in other states, but I know in New York, pro license isn't that much. That shit's probably like $10, $15 to pay for a license to fight. But for us, there's a commission. So there's like the PFL, then there's who else? It's the PFL, WKA, ISKA. They're like the commission bodies, right? Now they're everywhere, but in New York, you know, you sign your joint, boom, and that lasts for about 6 months. That license lasts for about 6 months. And then, but that's how that goes. But I couldn't do the process because, you know, the whole COVID shit. But I never stopped training though. Even when COVID started, up until now, I never stopped training.
Wow.
Staying healthy, ready.
Yeah. So, are gyms still closed right now in New York? Okay.
Well, some of them are open, but it's like at like 25% capacity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah, I feel you, man. And the difference is New York's only got one beach. Like here, we have the beach in LA, right? So I can just train on the beach and be very distant from everyone. But it's harder in New York to do that.
We got Coney Island Beach. Well, we got the beach in Coney Island and then Brighton Beach, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to no damn Brighton Beach.
Yeah. Yeah. Is Brighton Beach kind of like not good anymore, right?
When was it ever good? I'm good on it. Hey, I'm from the middle. I'm from Bed-Stuy, so that's like the heart of Brooklyn, right? And then Coney is at the bottom of Brooklyn. That is literally the bottom. You know, like once you go there, you're in the Atlantic Ocean. So,
wow. Yeah, the water's definitely different in the Atlantic and the Pacific. So.
Yeah, New York waters are just disgusting. It's disgusting.
You know, I lived in Philly for many years, and I can tell you Philly water is even more disgusting than New York water. I don't know why.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
I can believe that.
That's why nobody lives in Philly, man. Philly's so close to New York. Everyone that can make it goes to New York. There's a reason why.
I got family in Philly. They was in North, but now they in West.
Oh, yeah. West Philly's great. I lived in West Philly for many years.
Okay. They got a good fighting community out there as well.
Yeah, the Bare Knuckle FC is in Philly. It's crazy. I found out. I was like, whoa, in Philly? Well, figures, you know, it's Philly.
Somebody asked me if I would do that, and I was like, I don't know, because if I got offered a lot of money to do a lightweight fight, I would do it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know how I feel about the Bare Knuckle. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. You know, I
should connect you with Sparta Entertainment. They're doing their first lightweight fight. They're doing their second lightweight fight this Saturday. The first one happened last month. This second one, David LaDuke for Cyrus Washington. Yeah.
I seen.
Yeah, I'm in touch with them. So if you want to do lightweight, I mean, just train your head, train your neck a lot, man. But if you want to do lightweight, I could connect you with them.
I heard. No, I'm not trying to jump in there just yet, but that's like for the idea of doing it down the line. My shit is just Muay Thai right now. I want to make it to where I can fight in Glory and then ONE FC. That's my goal.
Yeah, for me, I just feel like every martial artist, even if you don't fight lightweight, you should learn how to defend against headbutts and how to headbutt just in case, right? Because, you know, the way to headbutt is not like this, you know. You don't do the James Bond thing. It's all about structural alignment and stuff like that. And you got to learn it, man. Like, because if you can headbutt someone, you're probably going to be able to take hits, right? That's my thought. So it's like, I need to get to that point where, like, if needed, I'm not going to, but if needed, I can headbutt someone and knock them out. That way it's like, I know if someone just punches me and, like, doesn't catch me by surprise, I'll be okay.
I feel you. I got a funny story about headbutts.
Yeah, tell me, please.
I was fighting in, like, some underground fighting shit years ago. I was, like, 22. And I forgot the name of it, but these guys were in a Vale Tudo fight. So they fighting whatever, and the guy, I didn't know what Vale Tudo was, by the way. The guy headbutted him. He was like, yo, what the fuck? He said, nah, this is a Vale Tudo. This anything goes. The guy said, oh, okay. He wrapped the guy's gi up. So the guy is trying to move, and the guy just started headbutting. Yo, all right. You know how Sean Gannon looked after he fought Kimbo, how his face was? That's how this guy looked. I've never seen a headbutt in real life. That shit bugged me out, yo.
Ugh.
Shit bugged me out.
Yeah. Like you said, like, you really don't appreciate how much blood and stuff like that is involved in fighting until you do some of those, like, you know, more underground stuff. Oh man.
I mean, it's like being in a meth lab. I did an interview some years ago. I forgot. It was a girl. I did an interview about underground fighting. And I explained it like it's like walking into a meth lab. Underground fights. That's how it feels.
Wow.
You know, the shit that I've done. I'll say that.
Wow. Hey,
I like the sanctions.
How did you get involved with these underground fights, man? I'm asking because, like, for example, Ken Shamrock, who I interviewed, Ken Shamrock's done underground fights, right? But, like, his situation was different. It's like he would go into, like, these, like, bars of, like, you know, like almost like you call them, like, hick bars, and they're just, like, and they would fight underground. But, like, tell me about how you got involved with underground fights.
Well, it started from the Man Up Stand Up. So, after, like, people saw me fight. So they're like, yo, we want to get you on our show. And at that time, MMA was illegal in New York.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
It wasn't legal here yet. This was like 2011, 2012. So it was like, they're like, yo, we want to put you on our show. You could fight in this weight class or whatever. And I didn't really know how to kickbox yet. So I knew how to do like kung fu and I knew some boxing, but I didn't know how to truly kickbox. And, the rules were American kickboxing, so it was no leg kicks, which I was real good at. I'm still good at that. So it's like only body kicks, and I didn't know the structure of how to actually kickbox at that time. So like I lost a few of them fights going in, because in my mind I'm thinking like, okay, this is just gonna be some regular shit like I always do. But nah, it was way grittier. It was dirty. It was grungy. And I started to fall in love with it after, actually. That's why I'm so gritty now when it comes to, you know, to the fighting.
Wow, that's crazy. So tell me about that first, like, underground match you did, man. How was it? So, you know, you went in with Kung Fu and, like, you know, you had your man up stand up. Did you find out, like, mid-fight that you couldn't leg kick, or did you know already it was no leg kick?
So I came in on some fly guy shit. I had a Montclair coat. No, I had a Liz Claiborne coat with the collar up. I had my shades on. Like, I was feeling myself. I was really feeling myself. I had a Gucci shirt on. So I go in there, whatever. Now, this is the thing. I always feel like when it comes to fighters, I'm the best at fashion. But at that time, I should have been on the fight. So I went in there, and I was like, okay, this is different. You know, like, this is real. This is like a drug deal, kind of. So, so we in there, whatever. Now it's like 2 fights before me. 2 fights before mine. And the promoter's like, yo, it's going to be an American kickboxing style match. So it's no kicks no knees and no kicks to the legs. So I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go in there and I'm trying to, like, Wing Chun it. But it's like the structure was different. I'm fighting somebody that does MMA. It's kickboxing, but he's doing MMA and I'm doing this. So then I had to, like, abandon my Wing Chun a little bit just to, and it didn't turn out well. It didn't turn out right. Like, my mind wasn't prepared for the gritty shit that I was about to receive. So that was my first loss ever.
Wow. Was it bare knuckle or did it have gloves?
Nah, MMA gloves.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, MMA gloves.
Wow. And so you mentioned earlier that you still put some Wing Chun in your Muay Thai. Could you tell us more about that?
So if we're clinching, right? If I'm clinching you on the dummy, I forgot the name of it, but there's positions on the dummy, right? You weight it down. It's the same as when I'm clinching. If we fighting, you throw a hook, boom. I can block here and hook, and now I'm in a clinch, and I can work my way into, you know. So I never really, I never take, if something works, I never get rid of it. Now, I can't do chain punches and all that shit the way, because this isn't 1836. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't back then. I make my martial art work for now. That's the problem I have with a lot of Wing Chun dudes. Some guys are fight. It's like, bro. It's like, bro, what are you doing? It's not applicable for now. You know what I mean?
And that's why, like, whenever I see a guy like this, I'm like, well, what are you doing with this hand, man? Come on. What are you doing with this hand?
Yo, when I first started watching you last year, right? And you was like, you know, you said, I remember you said this. You was like, you guys think I don't like Kung Fu, and I know what you're saying, because I say the same thing. Like, it has to work for now. You can't get this psychosis in your head that you can't build up this fake armor that, okay, what I do in my kun, my dojo is real. Now, when I go out in the street, it's going to work that way. No, real fighting is not. And you know what I mean? Real fighting is dirty. It's ugly. And that's my problem with Kung Fu guys, like, right now, from what I've seen. It's especially in New York. Oh, my God. Oh, my fucking God. Like, there's some guys that think they're Vegeta and Goku. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I had a guy try to fight me like he put his hand behind his back and put 2 fingers up. I threw a jab, hook, body, leg kick, and he didn't want to fight anymore.
Yeah.
It was like, it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. Sounds like you have a lot of bullshido stories too. Then I mean,
bro. I done been, when it comes to martial arts, I started when I was 8. I'm 31 now. I done been through the ringer. Like, I done seen the real shit and I done seen the fake shit.
Yeah.
I had a guy tell me that his teacher was from some part of China that we've never heard of, and his style was passed down from, like, yo, bro, all right, just show me how it works. Let's spar.
Yeah.
I can't spar with you because my techniques are too dangerous. And how do you know they work if you're not? Yo, I done been through a bunch of that shit.
Yeah. And I know because the Kung Fu craze took over China, America in every community for a while. So, of course, you'll have different flares of Bullshido, right? Depending on the community. Like, within the Asian community, there's going to be a different flair. Within the Black community, there's going to be a different flair. I'm sure within the Hispanic community, there's, like, a different flair of Bullshido. So it's always funny to, like, hear these stories. The white community, there's going to be a different flair of Bullshido. Like, the fat, like, old white instructor, like, that's like a white, like, Bullshido thing. You don't see that in, like, Asian Bullshido or, like, Black Bullshido.
Right.
But I'm sure, like, and then, like, Black Bullshido, there's going to be, like, a different type of, like, that kind of guy.
It's always a militant guy that looks like a Black Panther.
Oh.
They have all these deadly techniques. It's like, yo, what the fuck is that? Like, like, shit that can't stop a jab. This is my problem. Like, for me, I really don't get into the Bullshido thing because it's like, all right, if I see it, you have some type of mental disability. I'm going to leave you alone. But it's like, if you tell me you do this martial art, you have fights, and I spar with you, you can't stop my jab, I'm going to stop sparring. I'm going to walk away because I'm not wasting my time. That's the type of shit I deal with all the time.
Yeah. People
that say they do martial arts, but they can't throw a kick. They can't. Nah.
Yeah.
I had a guy.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had a guy tell me he was a black belt in BJJ. Now, I don't do BJJ, but I know you don't just, that's not easy to just get. Like, so we talking whatever. He's like, yeah, I got a black belt in, because I said I have a black sash in Kung Fu, right? He didn't know what that was. He didn't know what that meant. And I was like, I have a brown belt in ninjutsu under Felix Vasquez. I have a green belt in Taekwondo when I was training in Massachusetts. So we talking, we conversing, and I'm trying to share knowledge with him, but I see he doesn't get what I'm saying. So I'm like, okay, this dude is lying to me. And then he was like, yeah, I got a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I was like, what kind of jiu-jitsu? He said, the one on the floor. I was like, Brazilian jiu-jitsu? Yeah, that one.
No.
I politely just say, I can't do this. And but that's big here. That's a big thing here. Wow. It's a lot of fronting.
Yeah, and it makes sense because New York has a lot of people, right? So with any big population city especially, you'll get people fronting all the time, like you said. That's so funny.
It's crazy because I feel like I seen you do the bullshit martial arts thing. It was like the lady, she had a knife on her, 2 guns.
Yeah.
She's like, you move the knife, drop the gun. Like, people here, they still teach shit like that.
Wow.
They still teach shit like that. You go to these karate tournaments here in the city, and you got, I'm not going to disrespect certain schools, but you got some schools where, like, it's still teaching shit that the way it was taught in the 70s. The gun is here, you do this, and I never want the gun to be here, and I try to grab it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's happening here right now.
Wow. That's so interesting to hear these stories because you think once MMA and stuff like that got legalized in New York, a lot of this would kind of fall by the wayside. But it really shows how in the echo chamber everyone is, right? People who, let's say, do these, Bullshido, they might have a community of like 200 people around them. So like they don't know their full.
Yeah, they don't know. Yeah, they don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about here in New York is that a lot of the MMA fighters here, like their great uncles and grandfathers were like martial artists from back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So even if something don't work, they're not going to disrespect it because it's like, my grandfather did this, my uncle did this. So that's a big thing here. We had a lot of fighters from here. Wildcat Molina, Felix Vasquez. We had a lot of dope fighters from the city.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's just the McDojo type shit. It still lingers.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, well, this is my lineage. They'll still claim their family lineage, but it's like, I wouldn't. My family shit don't work. I'm gonna say it don't work.
Yeah, exactly. And that's so interesting. And I think that aspect kind of, you probably can see that in China too. A lot of those like good MMA fighters in China, they probably had an uncle or grandfather or something who did a system that's no longer effective, right? So like they're probably not going to be as willing to criticize whatever family system. So you see like a parallel in that. That's really interesting.
I mean, the world of martial arts is so crazy. Before the internet, before like MMA became a big thing, and I credit MMA on that, like bringing to the light what actually works in certain situations. Before that, it was just like martial arts was just Kung Fu, especially. It was just the most spiritual thing you could ever think of. Yeah, because it's like it has a bunch of Eastern esoteric philosophy, and you know you have the Taoist. I fucks with Taoism. I fucks with the Taoists, like all that Wudang martial arts. But it's like it got out of hand because the movies made it a certain way. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Jet Li was in the movie, fuck is this movie? La Romeo Must Die, I think. Yeah. And he fought like, no, it was Exit Wounds. He fought Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell, all these different.
Oh yeah, Cradle to the Grave.
Cradle to the Grave, that one. And they're all big. And he's beating them all up. And I'm thinking to myself, like, when I was a kid, I'm like, yo, that I want to do that. That's how I want to be. Yeah. But as an adult, I'm looking at it like, yo, these grown men, these big men hit each other. They clock each other. Yeah. They still keep fighting. Yeah. That little man is not gonna. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, but that's still a thing here, man.
And I remember I was around 13 or 12 when I watched Cradle to the Grave, and I was always the kid, and this is one of the reasons I came to LA. I was always the kid that wanted to know how the movie was made, so I'd watch the behind the scenes. And there were two things that almost shattered my perception, but I clung on to that for a while still afterwards. But I remember Jet Li said behind the scenes in interviews, he's like, yeah, all these MMA fighters can kill me in 2 seconds. He said that.
I've never seen that.
Yeah. And I, in my mind, thought because Jet Li's a Buddhist, I thought he was just being humble. But he was actually just being truthful. He's like, I'm just a performer. You know, these guys literally get punched in the face daily. That's how they train. Like, I can't beat them. And the other thing that shattered my illusion, and I never talked about this until talking with you, so this is awesome. We're talking about this. Jet Li actually used a stunt double for many of the scenes where the MMA fighters were hitting him. So all those hits he took on screen were actually a stunt double. Yeah, because Jet Li at that point was getting a little older, right? So he couldn't do all the stunts himself. He couldn't. So like a lot of those things were not even him like getting hit. And remember when the cage got knocked down and Jet Li was using it as like a bouncy pad to kind of jump kick. That jump outside crescent kick, the spinning outside crescent kick he did, there was a rope behind the scenes, but he didn't even do it by himself. There was a rope pulling him to jump higher. And everyone was like, what? Jet Li? I thought you could do that. I'm sure he could have done it, but you know, he was getting older. I was like, oh, this all just like it breaks my heart. And of course I blocked it out of my mind for so many years. I'm like, no, I'm still gonna do Kung Fu.
Damn. You know what's crazy? Like the thing, so as far as Kung Fu goes, I still feel like Mantis is a dope style. Because Mantis is like 17 different styles plus the monkey footwork. And to me, monkey footwork is just boxing. That's how I equate it. So if you look at the punches in Mantis, the punches are like boxing punches, right? Me personally, I don't like to separate because I did like 5 animals for like a week. Wow. And each animal, whether it's tiger, dragon, jaguar, crane, everything, all the punches is all here. So it's still a punch, regardless of anything. So when it comes to martial arts, I never try to disassociate them. But what I will say is that, like I said, Mantis is dope. Trolley foot is dope. I love trolley foot. Yeah. That's like one of the only styles of Kung Fu to go to Thailand and win. You know, Hung guard, I respect it, but I wouldn't use that in a fight. You know, it's a lot of styles that I look at like, but then it's some is like I take it, you know, I hold it to esteem. Yeah, Wing Chun to me still works. It still works. Now it just has to be applied differently. Yeah. Like I see you post stuff and it's like, damn, yo, like I wish I was in these videos. Like. Because if you see me, like, I think I sent you a clip.
Yeah.
I was fighting in a park a few weeks, like last month or whatever. But I saw the kid didn't have the skills as mine, so I just like worked with him. But if you see, I'm doing kung fu, bow, like I'm just working the parries. Yeah. People think I'm boxing. Nah, that's Wing Chun. Like, all of that's Wing Chun.
Yeah.
So
it's really interesting too, because, and you know, the Wing Chun guy I feature a lot, Silala, talked about this too, but just because something looks like boxing and something looks like kickboxing doesn't mean they learned it from training boxing or kickboxing, right? There's, like you said, there's ways to effectively fight and there's ways to ineffectively fight. So eventually you take what you learn, and if you make it effective, it'll kind of look like everything else, but it doesn't mean that's boxing, right? That's the key.
Nah.
And that's what people don't realize. And I'm still getting so much hate. And all the times I feature like good martial artists who are not like boxers, they're like, Jerry, man, that guy just learned Muay Thai and you call him a Kung Fu guy. It's like, no, he didn't learn Muay Thai. He fights like Muay Thai, but his base is Kung Fu. You know, people don't get that.
Well, that's all right. It goes back to what I said earlier about, so I have a boxing IQ, right? I fight. I love boxing, but I wrap my Muay Thai, my Kung Fu, my Shui Jiao, everything around my boxing IQ. Yeah. So the IQ is boxing, the way I'm moving, what I'm looking for, but the techniques are going to be everything. Yeah. So, but most people don't train themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
So I wouldn't take a lot of that stuff to, you know, I look at comments and it's like, all right, whatever. Yeah. You fight me then. Yeah. That's my attitude. I hate when people that don't fight talk to me about fighting. I get real offended. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just like, y'all don't. My uncle, he goes, well, you know, you really can't be fighting no more because you're a little older. I was like, yo, bro, this is not the 70s. You got to retire at 31. Like, you know, and I'm like, you're not in shape. Like, you can't tell me, you know. Yeah. But that's the way of the world. That's what we live in right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what's really exciting about where combat sports is going, martial arts is going, is there's a lot of new understanding of like the science and the anatomy, et cetera, to this, right? So I'm really excited as to where all this is going to go, and potentially that could be my next thing. Is just maybe I don't know. I might be like that 30-year-old going to med school or something. But I think there's just so much we still don't know about how the body works and how the body takes hits and recovers, and how to like make your body stronger so you can take hits and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And also talk about fascia. You know, it's not just your muscles, right? It's your fascia, the connective tissue. So it's like there's so much to be learned about fighting and self-defense and all that. And I think my point in saying all this is the whole idea of like, oh yeah, when you're 30, when you're 40, you have to retire. I think that's going to not be the case anymore. Like, people will be fighting in their 60s and 70s. Yeah, I don't recommend it, but people will be fighting in their 60s and their 70s.
Yeah, look at freaking Bernard Hopkins at 40. He's 46. He beat Evander Holyfield, George Foreman's record. Yeah, oldest man to win a champion. And at 48, he beat the record. He beat his own record. Yeah. So I don't think it's a cutoff limit. You just have to manage your body, like you're saying, exactly. Learn the anatomy, and you know, I don't smoke, I don't drink, so I'm always training. I feel like I got another good 20 years in me if I want.
Absolutely. You know? Yeah, I mean, like proper sleep, and then just like rebalancing your body is half the battle. Like so many people, and I think I look at boxers, and I think even like Taekwondo and stuff like that. A lot of the classic martial arts, and I consider boxing in that too. They always make you do all these exercises to rebalance yourself, and then unfortunately, I think some MMA gyms and even Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they don't emphasize that. So I know a lot of Jiu-Jitsu black belts who like can't even lift their hands above their shoulders, or you know, their neck's so imbalanced they can't even do this.
Oh shit!
It's like, I think it's so crazy because like a lot of these guys can kill me in 2 seconds, but you know, they can't do this. You know, it's so weird. So I think the more we have awareness to this, the more there's going to be longevity, right? Like you can only take this like inability to do this for so long before you're like, maybe I should quit. Maybe there's something wrong with it. I knew a guy, he just needed to strengthen his neck, right? His neck was so imbalanced. So he thought he had a herniated disc, and I felt around it because, you know, I had neck problems for a long time. I'm like, I pressed here, right? If you have a herniated disc usually, or any kind of like nerve problem, if you press the back of your neck, you probably will get numbness or something. You know, you'll get like a
holy shit.
So I pressed down there and he had nothing. I'm like, dude, you don't have any herniation. Don't worry. Don't be scared. You just have imbalance.
Unbalanced.
Yeah, just a neck imbalance. So I started teaching him about the chin tuck, right? So like he started doing the chin tucks, and then he started getting better, and he stopped getting neck pain. Like, it's so amazing how just the body starts with something little, right? And that little thing will just make your whole life miserable. And so much of it is like an Occam's razor. You just like fix whatever's going on and you'll be fine.
I always say, yo, if you hurt your toe, your whole body's messed up.
Yeah.
You mess up your pinky, your whole body's.
Yeah.
Any discomfort anywhere is going to throw you off. But as fighters, we go into fights, we never 100%. Like, I've never been 100% in a fight. But I never let my injuries linger. You know what I mean? I always take care. Whatever injury I have, I take care of it.
Yeah.
Some guys, they train the way I train smart. I train hard, but smart. Some guys, they just think, I'm gonna train hard, I'm gonna spar hard.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you gotta take it easy. Like, I don't try to kill my sparring partner, they don't try to kill me. Yeah. We save that for the ring.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but when I've been to different MMA gyms and I see, I'm like, oh shit, like these dudes this is a fight. This ain't even sparring.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they doing
that is so important.
Squats and shit.
Yeah. I think what you emphasized, I think, is one of the biggest kind of changes in paradigm shifts, right? Now I think a lot of people realize, okay, there's no reason to kill each other in the gym. This is my buddy who I'm training with. Why am I trying to kill him? Just like practice your technique, clip each other once in a while, but not too hard. You know, I don't need to get clipped too hard to be like, oh, whoa, something's wrong with how I'm holding my hands right now, right? I mean, you just getting gently tapped in the eye is already, it hurts you.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
You don't you don't need to get really punched in the eye to the point where you do that like a few times and like you're like, ah.
Yeah, I don't. So last night I was sparring with a friend of mine, and I kind of hurt. I didn't mean to. Like, I was just touching, certain leg kicks, but I caught him with a good knee. I'm like, oh shit. Like, in my mind, I'm like, all right, I got to slow it down because we were moving and it was getting real intense. But it was good movement. But then I caught him with the knee and was like, all right, let me relax because I'm fighting. He's going to fight soon, so I don't want to kill him. Yeah. But that's the thing. You got to be mindful. Most people, they look at sparring as a fight. It's not a fight. It's just sparring. You know, like, that's not the goal. The goal is to win in the ring. This is just the preparation. Yeah.
And I think, in fact, if you think of sparring as a fight, it probably gives you a distorted view of yourself when you do step into the fight. Because, even if you're going 100% in sparring, you're not really going 100% in sparring because your mind is still realizes this is a little safer than the actual ring or the cage, right? So, like, you get used to, like, oh, yeah, I seem to be doing very well, and then you go into the cage and the person's really mentally resisting you too.
Exactly.
You train yourself then to, like, have unrealistic expectations of yourself. And then, so in a way, it's like really good. Maybe 60%, 50%, if you have to, 70% when you spar. But like when you go into the ring, that's when you prime yourself up. Okay, I'm ready for anything.
You ever see them spar in Thailand?
I have not. Probably not what you're talking about. So tell me more.
All right, it's never hard sparring in Thailand. They don't even wear gloves when they spar. They just touch they just kick each other. Touch. It's never anything hard. We do that in my gym. And a few other Muay Thai gyms do it because it's like, this is, like I said, this is the preparation. Yeah, yeah. When you do things a little slower, you see the mechanics of what you're doing. When you slow things down, everything opens up for you. Yeah. So I used to spar hard when I was a little younger, but as I got older, I see what they do in Thailand. And it's like, yo, I'm going to adjust my style to that. Yeah. It's just smooth, just real smooth. Exactly. Like if you look at Sanchai, he's just... Yeah, he's just smooth. His style of Muay Thai is called Muay Khmer. So it's 3 styles of Muay Thai. You ever heard of them?
Not really. So yeah, please explain. All right.
So there's Muay Mat. I love Muay Mat. That's like heavy punches, hard leg kicks, hard leg and hard body kicks. You coming forward, you take a few punches to land, and then you dig. Muay Khao. Khao is knee in Thai. Muay Khao is the clinch fighter. A clinch knee. Everything is about clinch knee, elbow. We pushing, we driving, knee. That's Muay Khao. Muay Khmer is like a showman. you know, he's playing the crowd. Like he's winning the fight, but he's also playing the crowd. You miss, like you kicks, he slips, he's playing to the crowd. Like that's Muay Famir. He's very like you ever heard of Samart?
Samart the fighter?
Yeah. He's Muay Famir. Sanchai is Muay Famir. Lerdzilla, it's another Muay Famir type of fighter. They just make everything look effortless, and then they're just having fun while you miss. They're just making everything just look so fun. Yeah. So my style of Muay Thai, I would like to do all three, but I'm only at the two right now: Muay Famir and Muay Mat.
I see. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Great lessons in terminology. I love this.
Yeah. I mean, I pay attention to details and I remember everything.
Yeah.
But people look at Muay Thai, they make it monolithic. Like Muay Thai is this. Yeah. It's just this one thing: hard punches, hard kicks, knees. Nah, Muay Thai is beautiful. Yeah. Muay Thai is beautiful.
It's kind of like Kung Fu. You know, people think Kung Fu is one thing, right? But Muay Thai literally just means boxing from Thailand. Yeah. You know, it doesn't mean it's monolithic, like you said. Like just like Kung Fu, there's so many different styles of Kung Fu, right? Their styles were, you know, so I love that now as Muay Thai gets more popular, people realize it's not just the thing, you know?
People think it's just like you're gonna come forward, kick fast, and punch fast. Yeah. Nah, it's so much deeper than that.
There's like people in Muay Thai that use the long guard and stuff like that. Like, exactly. So there's other styles like that. So even like how you hold your guard is different depending on where they learn it from.
Like, okay, let's say me and you, right? We both do Muay Thai, right? Now we're gonna train the same thing. Everybody trains the same thing. Yeah. But let's say elbows is your game, and let's say punching is my game, right? Yeah. So we're gonna train the same style. We at the same gym, but when you fight, people know that guy's gonna throw like 20 elbows. Yeah. So let's bet on him to throw 20 elbows. When they know when they see me fight, he trains everything, but I know his boxing is gonna be crisp. So I'm gonna bet that he's gonna throw this amount of punches. Yeah. So in Muay Thai, the styles are just crazy. Like some guys, they just gonna knee you. That's it. Yeah. They're gonna walk you down and knee the shit out of you. Yeah. That's it. You know, so like I said, it's not monolithic. Just like Kung Fu. Sanda. Some people don't look at Sanda as Kung Fu. Yeah. They just think it's kickboxing. Yeah. But that's the best form of Kung Fu right now, in my opinion.
Exactly. 100%.
The most advanced. Yeah. Yeah. They do Sui Jiao and everything.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah. So let's talk about what's next for you. You know, unfortunately right now the professional fighting's a little on hold, but do you plan on potentially one day fighting in Thailand or maybe going to other places to fight? Tell me about your plans.
So I'm fighting next month, I believe in Pennsylvania. It's gonna be it's gonna I just got the call yesterday. But I'm gonna see what that's about. I'm gonna do that, and after that, this is what I want to do. I want to fight here. I want to get some Friday night fights in if they let us do it again. But if I have to keep traveling to fight, then I'm gonna do it. But my main goal is to fight in Glory and to fight in 1FC. Thailand, not so much. I don't really think I did before, but now I really don't want to fight in Thailand. I want to fight in one championship and Glory. Yeah, that's my main. Those are the main my long-term goals. Short-term goals, just fight and make a lot of money. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And that actually gets a good follow-up question. Do you teach on the side too right now, or is it just right now you just train and fight?
I don't like teaching, so I'm not a good teacher. So I just train and fight. And it's crazy because everybody wants me to teach them. Yeah. So where I live in the hood. In Brooklyn, I live in the hood. Like I live in Bed-Stuy. That's where I'm from. Wow. So it's crazy because most people be like, I never met anybody like you. They said, you're a hood dude, but you do this martial arts stuff. And that's my whole thing. And they always ask me, I'll pay you this. Nah, I can't. I'm still training myself. I can't, I can teach you certain things here and there, but I can't give you a whole lesson. That's not me. I'm not a crew. Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny. It's funny that one of my good friends in LA was a guy who grew up in the hood too. So who like, he's not like, and that's the thing. Going beyond martial arts, that's why I like doing what I do, because I encourage people to kind of examine their own biases, right? Not only examine their own biases, but just like diversify their interests and diversify the people around them. Like, exactly like you said, like people might actually be like, yo, you don't act like someone, quote unquote, from this area. It's like, that's the point of America. It's like, don't examine your biases, right? Don't just
think one way or one thing about
Yeah.
people. And that goes back to the martial arts conversation. Kung Fu is not just one thing. Muay Thai is not just one thing. MMA is not just one thing. That's the whole reason we're doing all what we're doing.
I mean, well, you got to understand, certain people know and understand, certain people don't know and understand.
Yeah.
So 9 times out of 10, someone doesn't know, doesn't understand, and they don't care.
Yeah.
So it's like, me and you, we could be on the path of enlightenment and just like, oh, okay, you see this and it changes your perspective.
Yeah.
Certain people, they'll see that and not care.
Yeah.
It's just like, whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck about this.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
I rock with the people that come to me. I rock with the people that I can see something in them.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I have acquaintances. I have people I know where it's like, they're stuck in this. All right, I know them. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I mainly rock with people that's like open-minded, and we can share ideas and we can go beyond this. Because I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes, and I see this a lot. And like the Muay Thai world here in New York is like a lot of the other black dudes, they nothing like me. They're like valley kids. They talk like they white dudes. They act like they white dudes. I'm not, no funny shit. That's how they act. So when they see me, there's been times I've been to gym and it's like, he's too hood. It's like, I'm the most least hood from where I'm from, but y'all telling me I'm too hood.
Yeah.
That's the thing here. That's a big thing. That racial element and acting a certain way to be in a certain team, that's a big thing here.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't talk about that.
It's so interesting you mentioned that because, the Asian community loves to tell me, dude, you act so white, you talk so white. I'm like, dude, if you don't know your culture, that's why you're jealous of me. Like, I know Chinese. I can actually read all the Chinese stuff from China. That's one of my channel's draws. I can translate everything.
Yeah, I saw
and it's like, oh, you tell me I don't know my culture just because I can speak English, like, not like this, not like, so now you're going to say I want to be a white guy. It's like the stupid thing. It's so funny that, like, you go through some of that, too. It's like, one group like tries to put you this way, one group tries to put you this way.
Yeah, my whole life. That's how. Because it's like when I was a kid, I love anime. I love anime and I love pro wrestling. I love the shit out of pro wrestling. So I grew up and I love hip hop too. So those are my main things: anime, martial arts, pro wrestling, and music. But a lot of my friends was like, "Yo, you act like a white boy." And I was like, "Why?" Because I like Dragon Ball Z and all of this other stuff. But if you look at it now, everybody's into fucking anime. Yeah. Everybody's doing some type of martial arts now. So my whole life I grew up with that. I was a certain way here. And when I go to the other side, it's like, nah, you too hood. Like, you can't really be around us. So it's like, the fuck? Like, where can I go?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I think people like you and I, we like gravitate towards each other because we've had this experience of like, being an in-betweener, but also being able to like wear multiple hats. So it's like a blessing and a curse, but as long as we like try to use it as a blessing, it works out. But there's definitely moments where just like, oh man, people, come on,
Yeah, I mean, at 31 years old, I keep it moving because 5 years ago, I was a hothead. But now I know how to play. I look at everything like a fight, right? Yeah. So my mother, she was a school safety agent. And under the NYPD. So she was like a police officer. And they had something called verbal judo. I'll never forget this. And she used to use it on me. And my father used to always like not play games, but give me lessons to keep my mind sharp. And like that's how I know how to play with everybody. I know when it comes to words and you think you got me, but all right, watch this. Boom. And I just keep it moving. Yeah. I just keep it moving. I've never been the type I'm not the type anymore to hold on to the argument. It makes no sense. It's like holding on to a hot piece of coal. Yeah. I'm only hurting myself. So I just keep it moving.
Exactly. And this is such a great conversation too, because I love talking to people about this too. It's like so many people don't understand that a lot of times there's not even a need to argue, right? And I don't know if you see this where you live, but where I live sometimes, it's the people who've never fought that always are the ones that like get into arguments, get into confrontations they shouldn't. You know what, dude?
Bro. I had a guy at that same event that I was at. This guy fought, but his mind's like, you could tell he was new. They take this YouTube shit too seriously. Yeah. This is after all the fights is over, and Paulo Costa was gonna fight Adesanya. Now, I've been watching Adesanya since like 2011. So the guy's like, Costa's gonna knock him out. I'm like, how you figure that? Costa's big. I'm like, yo, bro. I'm like, son. Adesanya has fought Jason Wilderness, Simon Marcus, Philippe Verlinden, Artem Bakitov, Artem Levin. He's fought top competition for the past 10 years. Costa hasn't fought anybody nowhere near that. So how do you expect him to win? But Costa's got muscles. I'm like, yeah, I could tell. I said, how long you been fighting? 5 years. I can tell you've been fighting for fucking 5 years. Probably even less, because who thinks like that? Oh, this guy's big, so he's going to win. And then you have people out here in the hood where I'm at, and it's like, oh, well, I'm trying to, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Some of my stories are just like people who obviously never fight. They're always the first to argue with you. It's like, chill out, dude. Like, they're not only with me or someone they know, they're always the first to like argue with strangers too. It's like, come on. And like the story I always tell, there's one guy I knew. I don't hang out with him anymore. He's just, too aspy in the mind. He's going to get himself and people in trouble. But one time he got into an argument with the husband of a pregnant woman over some like bench. And like, what? Why? Why would you do that? Why? He, even if the husband doesn't know how to fight, his wife's pregnant right now. Maybe that's going to make him like do stupid stuff.
Yeah, he might snap.
Yeah. So like, why are you arguing with him? I felt like the only reason they didn't get into a fight because I was there. I was like, whoa, what's going on? And so he was like, okay, if I'm going to fight, there's two guys. But like this quote unquote friend of mine almost got me into a situation too, But
yo,
like,
that sounds like Karen energy. That's like big Karen energy.
He literally has like, because a lot of guys, and this is why martial arts is so important, right? A lot of guys, because of our society, don't understand what it means to be masculine. They have this idea that being masculine is like the guy that always disagrees, the guy that always like stands up for himself. It's like, no, that's not being a man. If you're always standing up to people to the point where you like risk getting into fight all the time, you're not being a man right there. You're being stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is my personal belief. I feel like if everybody learned martial arts, real martial arts, from a young age, there wouldn't be a lot of bullies. There wouldn't be any fights.
Yeah.
Because think about it. If I got a gun and you got a gun, we're likely not going to shoot each other.
Yeah.
Because if we both know, all right, this shit can go down.
Yeah.
Most people don't have that. That's why you see so many I hate that shit. Them world star fights. I hate street fight videos. I hate them shits to death. Because people knock somebody out and it's like, now they think that they're a real fighter. Then that video gets millions of views, and then people start to emulate that, and they start fighting, and it's just a cycle. I hate that shit. So I wish everybody learned martial arts young. Like I wish that was a thing here. Like that was a code. You had to learn it young. Maybe our society would be a little better.
I 100% agree, man. I think about, for example, back when I did ineffective kung fu back in the day, I thought I was the shit, man. I tell people stories all the time. Like, just because I had a little bit of more tools in my belt, I would win fights all the time, and I would think I was the shit. But it didn't mean I could fight. It just meant the people I fought didn't know how to fight. But I thought I was the shit, man. And then one of my oldest videos, I don't know if you've seen this, but I got into a fight with a boxer in middle school. And the guy did a body jab on me, and I couldn't even see it. Remember, you were talking about earlier how, like, if someone can't defend against a jab, you're not going to fight them, right? Because they can't fight. He did a body jab on me, and I because I didn't even hold my hands up when I fought back in the day because I was the kung fu guy, right? So he held his hands like this. He was coming towards me, so I was backing up. I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm going to make fun of you. So I was like this. He did a body jab on me so quickly, hit me. And then he just sat down because he had the same mentality you had. He's like, okay, this guy obviously never been jabbed before, so I don't want to fight him. I don't want to knock him out in class.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize at that point because I had never done like serious real combat source martial arts that like if I fought someone legit, I would get destroyed in a second.
Yeah.
But because of that, I thought it was so good. I was always like going around fighting people.
What did you do?
I just did Changquan. So I did like northern styles of kung fu, but
so that's like a lot of kicks,
a lot of kicks and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. And I did a little karate, but none of that was I didn't do the type of martial arts where at the end of class you sparred. I didn't do that kind of martial art.
Yeah. So I went to my shifu. He took us to. You ever heard of Hung Shing? Hung Shing. He's a 30-something generation monk from Shaolin, but he teaches here in New York City.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted to go to Shi Yang Ming. You ever heard of Shi Yang Ming?
Tell me about this.
All right, so Shi Young Ming, I don't know too much about his story, but I know RZA from Wu-Tang rocked with him. So I was like, yeah, that's where I want to go. But my Sifu took us to this guy, Hung Shing, and I'd never been in nothing like that ever in my life. Like that training, that showed me Kung Fu is real. Like, but the problem was they don't spar there. If you wanted to spar, you get kicked out.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
But
yeah, that's kind of worrisome, man.
But I see why them I see why Shaolin has them legends. I see why they have the legends about them. The power I got from doing that training was amazing. Like I still do that shit now. It was just Shaolin conditioning, Shaolin Wugong, warrior training or something like that. But it got me real strong. But the only problem is I couldn't test it until I got to, until I started sparring with my people. And it was like, I saw the results. But yeah, man, that shit was bugged out because I'm thinking like, I'm ready and shit. I had gloves in my bag. And they was like, no, we don't do that here.
Wow.
And yeah, the guy was like, he said, yeah, that's not he said, you don't want to get kicked out. That's not
wow.
Yeah. So that's my problem with a lot of Kung Fu. The training be good, but the fighting is non-existent.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or they overemphasize the dance portions, right? So it's like
forms and shit. Yeah.
So, but
I get why they do forms, but my mentality is, so this is the form, right? It's in a box. It's a present.
Yeah.
You're not going to put the present on the table and marvel at the present. No, you're going to open the present, take out its contents. To me, that's how you work with martial arts.
Yeah.
You take the forms and you find the application in the forms, But a lot of people don't do that. They just know this is what my sensei or my sifu taught me, and I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they start punching like this in real fights.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Jordan Chow, the guy that Ramsey Dewey and I, he was the guy who was always in Ramsey Dewey videos. Jordan Chow and I had a conversation 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about this too. We're just like, that's the whole point of forms and katas. It's not to kind of be like, oh, this is the present. Let's just admire it. It's like, open it up, figure out what it's used for, right? The thing I was talking to Jordan about was that sometimes if you're just shadow boxing and you're new, you're probably not going to come up with like cool combos. So what a lot of these katas and forms and taolu, whatever you call them, it's just to give you some new ideas in your shadow boxing that you can test out and think about, work through. So it's a way to help a beginner kind of, because think about it, like even in boxing, if you're new to shadow boxing, you just taking a few lessons, you're probably just going to go like this. You don't know about, oh, maybe I could go like this, or maybe I could go like this, right? But if you have all these forms and katas and stuff in your mind, then you could be like, oh, what are these moves doing? How can I implement it in my shadow boxing? And then maybe some of that can transfer over, like you said, to practical stuff in a combat situation.
Yeah, that's how it should be. You know what I mean? Like, it's this guy, I forgot his name, but he fought with, and I love that video that you put with, what's his, the guy with the back tattoos, the Chinese guy, he does MMA, he's banned in certain parts of China.
Oh, Xu Xiaodong.
Yo, yeah. I love that video when like they was gonna fight in the ring, but then they fought on the
ground.
Floor.
Yeah.
That guy, I seen that Wing Chun guy fight before. Yeah. And people were like, yo, see, Wing Chun does work. And they will always point to him. And I was like, yo, he's not doing anything special. He's just throwing a bunch of fast punches straight. And you look at, what's his name, Xu Xiaodong. He didn't do anything special. Yeah. Nothing out of the ordinary. And he mopped them up, wiped the floor with them. But you can tell, like, he has a good knowledge of fighting.
Yeah.
He's not fighting the best fighters in the world. Like, I seen him get beat up in the Thai gym in China. Yeah. But he still has a good idea of what fighting is. Yeah. And I was like, that's how fighting should be. He didn't do anything special. It was simple, to the point.
Yeah.
So, like you were saying, like, it should be. You learn this. Okay, now what does this do? If I do this, in Wing Chun, we call it crane kicks. In MMA, it's all called the oblique kick. I've been doing that since 2010. I know where to, because in the Wing Chun dummy, you have the third leg, and you stop it with the crane kick. So I know, all right, that's what this is for. That's what, now how can I freak this and turn it another way?
Yeah.
Because I'm like a scientist when it comes to fighting. I like to dig and pinpoint and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is where this world is going. More people are going to be like a scientist when it comes to fighting. and not just like do it because it works, or do it because it's tradition, or do it because it looks cool or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we got to give MMA credit. Look at the first UFC.
Yeah.
Like, all of that shit was debunked. You had guys talking about they were 201-0 in the street. And 169 wins. And they get in, they get tapped out.
Yeah, exactly.
And it showed what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
So you gotta respect it.
Yeah.
I like, what's that guy's name? Faraz Zahabi.
Yeah.
I like the way he thinks when it comes to fighting and training. And then you got guys like Gaethje's coach, Trevor Whitman. You listen to him talk, and it's like so many great gems that they drop in about fighting. Yeah. So much great shit. But it goes
in New York, where you are, John Danaher, right? John Danaher, he's a PhD who ended up getting into jiu-jitsu, and he trained some of the most successful jiu-jitsu guys.
John Danaher.
Yeah, you should look up. I'll send you his stuff after this. But yeah, he's part of the Renzo Gracie Academy, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the two big jiu-jitsu teams in New York. There's the Marcelo Garcia people, of course.
I know Marcelo.
And then there's the John Danaher people who are under Renzo Gracie. So,
okay.
Yeah, so John Danaher's like a philosopher. I think he's actually a PhD at Columbia or something like that. But one day he just got into jiu-jitsu, just like you and I. Like martial arts, it's very deep, man. It has a lot of thinking, a lot of science to it. So Danaher just one day got into jiu-jitsu, and now he's like one of the top jiu-jitsu guys training other jiu-jitsu guys.
Yeah, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah. And I hope that's where martial arts goes, instead of like train your body until your body dies, or
that's more like a Chinese thing. That's like a Chinese old karate thing.
Yeah.
If something is hurt, we're gonna keep hitting the part that hurts.
Keep hitting it. It stops hurting. I hate that. That's why I was disillusioned with Kung Fu for so long. Because like here's the thing, right? Like I don't have this problem anymore, but I used to have a lot of I used to have a lot of problems with my glutes, right? And so I didn't realize it was going back to the imbalance thing, just imbalance. So now I just train a lot of this stuff. So now when I kick and stuff like that, you see, it doesn't hurt anymore. But nobody in the Kung Fu show told me, oh yeah, just imbalances, just train these stabilizer muscles. But all it took was that. And now, I can raise this for a roundhouse kick and stuff like that. It's crazy.
I mean, they, like you said, they teach it from tradition.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you can't stick to the tradition, you're weak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I never went through that, but I know that mentality.
Yeah.
I just feel like we do need to get away from a lot of that shit. If tradition don't work, throw it away.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't go into traditions that don't work. Like voting. I don't vote unless there's an agenda in there for me that's gonna work. You know what I mean? So,
exactly.
Yeah. I done seen different karate schools, and it's like older guys, and their hands are like this. Their hands like a claw. It's not even a hand anymore. It's just bone encased in meat, because from years and years of them training a certain way, now their hands are all fucked up. If they punch you, you're gonna go out. But it's like at the cost of what? Like you killing your. Yeah, we don't need that anymore.
Yeah, agreed, man. Dude, this was such a great conversation, and I'm sure we will have more. So maybe after your next fight or something, we can have another talk or something.
Yeah,
we'll reflect on that fight. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm just getting ready for it now. I haven't fought in a year, man. I haven't fought in over a year. My last fight was May 18th, 2019, and I feel like I got robbed. I feel like judges robbed me on that, but I was prepared to go in there again. Me and my old coach, we got into it. Now I'm at a different gym. Great, everything's better. Right when I was about to get it in, the pandemic. So I think I'll be all right though, because I'm staying. I'm staying healthy, staying in shape. Yeah, and then just let the training take care of it, basically. Yeah. Yo, for me, fighting it's like water. Yeah, it's literally like water. Yeah. Did I ever tag you in the my man up stand up fights? You sent me one. You sent me the one where I think they called you Dante or something. Yeah, that's my government name. That's my birth name. Oh. Yeah, I don't fight under that anymore. Makes sense. Yeah, that was a minute ago. Yeah. My first fight ever, actually. That's on my list, man. Well, I have so many videos on the list, and I'm probably gonna start uploading tomorrow again on the main channel, just because I had to wait out this election because everyone's mind was on that. So I was like, okay, I'm just not gonna do fight videos for now.
So, but
I
I'll
get
start
you.
tomorrow. Hopefully by tomorrow, people will be over the election politics stuff and they'll go back to watching regular scheduled content.
Now I love you, yo. I love your videos, man. I love your videos. It all started with that Shu Dong video.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure which one was it? He beat up the Tai Chi guy.
Yeah.
Silala, I think his name, Lala or something. Lele.
Lele's the Wing Chun guy. Lele.
Okay, so it's Lele. Yeah.
Yeah.
It all started. I was like, yo, I like this dude. Like when I heard you talk, I was like, I like this dude. Like I watch all of y'all, man. I watch all of y'all, but I watch your channel a lot. Like,
dude, thank you. Thank you. Cool, man. Well, this is a perfect stopping point, and we will definitely bring you back, man. Do you have a fighter page right now, or like a website or something, or a YouTube channel?
No, I got a YouTube channel. I just started it, actually. It's, hold on, what is my YouTube channel? Hold on 1 minute.
Yeah. Because that would be I can put that link once this talk goes up.
Where we at? Instagram.
And while we're waiting, I think it's good to encourage all fighters, man. Create a YouTube channel. Even just put 1 or 2 videos up there.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yo, it's so many ways now for us to eat and do our own thing.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but a lot of people don't take advantage.
Yeah.
They don't take advantage of the, okay, let me see. So my YouTube is Speed Kills Cavali.
Ooh, Speed Kills Cavali. I see. Okay, so exactly. It's pretty easy to remember. Speed Kills Cavali. Yeah, cool. So I will link that. There you are.
Yeah, that's my logo and that's my avatar.
I see.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know, my YouTube is gonna be everything. Fighting. You see, I got Tekken video. Like, that's me playing. Like, I'm kind of universal.
Cool. Awesome. So for viewers, I will link that, and there will be links to some of the other topics we talked about too. So again, Bill or William, Speed Kills Cavali, aka the Muay Thai Monkey King.